welcome to the Astro Forecast for the week of May the 8th to the 14th. It is a full week of astrology. Okay, so let's get to it. First, though, I want to say thank you to either Angelica or Angelica. I'm not too sure how to say it. She sent in feedback to suggest that maybe we start to put in the days of the week on the video so that people can see exactly what the day of the week is when you're listening to it on the side, or you're like, oh, wait, what day did she say that was? So I want to thank her for this feedback because we've altered that now on the YouTube video. So if you didn't know, this is on YouTube on Sundays. If you're on my newsletter list or subscribe to my YouTube channel, you get to see this on Sunday. And if you're on social media, you get to see it on Monday. So a little insider tip there. If you want to see it a little bit early, you can get on my newsletter list or be a subscriber to my YouTube channel. So thank you, Angelica or Angelica, depending on how you say it. I so appreciate your feedback. And thank you for everyone who watches this and actually, uses this information in your life to make it easier to flow with these channels, these weather systems that comes in from the astrology. Everything for an opportunity. And I'm just so honored to be here and be your guide through the cosmos. So let's get started, shall we? So on Monday, May 8th, we start the week off in a third quarter phase moon, meaning the moon is losing light. We just came off of that ginormous eclipse the week before in Scorpio. You might be like feeling it, it's bringing up Scorpio, bringing up all of the ish, right? All of the healing wounds that need to be seen, karmic ties, ancestral trauma, things that we picked up over time is now kind of coming to the surface for us to kind of release it, because we can't move into the dynamic future that is ahead of us if we're still holding on to all of this baggage, right? It was a detoxifying moon. So the moon is now losing light, and we might be, losing steam in our life, or we starting to feel a little bit of a slowdown, which is quite natural for this time of the moon cycle. And it is also Mercury still in retrograde, but about to go direct. So it's starting to slow down, and it's kind of slower than the Earth slower down, slowing down more. And then it's going to pick up steam going the other way in a moment next week. So we're going to talk about that. So Monday specifically, I was looking at some of the moon aspects this day. It's kind of a big emotion day. This is a day where we're going to feel a little more sensitive, especially coming off of that, full moon eclipse. We're in eclipse season as well. We might be feeling a little bit combative in relationships. Venus is in Cancer, so we're very sensitive, and we could be, irritated as well because of some other aspects this day. So just give yourself some space on Monday. Okay, Tuesday is a big day. We have the Sun conjunct Uranus. It happens once a year, and Uranus is the planet of change, of awakenings, of our own unique kind of essence that we bring to the world. It's ingenuity. It's kind of thinking outside the box. It's being your own person. It's the ruling planet of Aquarius, and they march to their own drum, right? They're not interested in toting the line of society. They are meant to come here to expand society and bring us to the next level. And that means a little disruption so that we can then, change some things up. So Uranus is the god of chaos. He's the change maker, and he's coming to sit with the Sun. And so the Sun is our vitality, it's our energy. So Uranus is very fast, but it's also very erratic, right? So we can feel like our energy is very erratic on this day, and even leading up to it, right? It's sort of the Sun is coming to sit with Uranus, and then it'll start to kind of move away from Uranus. So we call it applying, exact, and then separating. So we're going to feel this aspect sort of all week, really. And it's a time now to flow with change. Expect the unexpected. I say it once a year, and every time I get texts back, are like, what the hell is this, right? It's our control piece. When we're obsessed with control as humans, our brain wants certainty, and there is no certainty. So today is going to show you that, where you're just meant to flow. So anything that you have on your agenda that you're like, I need to get this done. Today is not a day. Tuesday, May 9th, it is not a day to have a rigid schedule. Okay, this is a day to flow, maybe give yourself a little bit more space in your schedule to kind of maybe go for a impromptu lunch or an after, workday drink with somebody. That's an exciting way that this can show up in your life, right? So Uranus is the god of excitement as well. Like exciting things can happen today. You might meet amazing new people that come through your life, or you again proposed, an exciting proposal that comes through. This Mercury retrograde is still messing with my mind. So please bear with me as I choose the right words. So on this day, Tuesday, May 9th, this is a great day to allow for disruptions, allow for unexpected excitement, freedom and rebellion. You want to break with routine and flow with genius. That's like the classic for this day. Break with routine and flow with genius. Also a good day to be active and to kind of charge this energy or discharge this energy out into the world. It's kind of nervous energy, right? Uranus rules sort of the nervous system, or Aquarius is the nervous system. And so it's this kind of shocks that can come through the nervous system. So we want to make sure that you're expelling that energy out. Now, Uranus also rules car accidents. So we want to make sure that you are driving with caution today. It does not mean you will get in an accident, and we're not trying to incite fear. This is more about just being cautious. Today, as you are driving, you are making conscious, deliberate actions and decisions with your vehicle. Okay. If you are in a rush, if you're acting erratic, if you're dodging and weaving in traffic, that's just common sense, right? You're likely to be in an accident. You are in a higher chance today to be in an accident. So don't drive like that. Just don't drive like that all the time, anytime, right? You're going to be late, just say, I'm going to be late, right? Just honor that. Also, not a great time because it's happening in Taurus for the stock markets. So it'll be interesting to watch this week if there's any volatility coming in the stock markets, stock market crashes, banks, volatility in banking systems. We just saw that JP Morgan Chase, I think is the bank, saved a failing bank in the US. So there's been a lot of this kind of other banks coming in to shore up banks that are not doing well or that have been poorly run. So we might know more about that, or more might come to light around the banking system that might want to shore it up or create more stability in the banking system. But it's not going to happen today. It's going to be very unstable. So most astrologers, and especially financial astrologers, are sort of warning against any risky investments or big money moves at kind of this, especially this first half of May. So just a word of caution there. And I'm not a certified financial planner. Do as you wish. And your future is in your hands, right? But as an astrologer, I would just say, be cautious with your money right now. And remember, Mercury is also retrograde in this earth sign of Taurus too. So this is about rethinking our money structure, rethinking what brings us foundations and support and safety in our life, right? So Taurus is about money, the earth, the environment, our resources, the things that we call mine, right? So we want to make sure that we're really thinking very strongly about moves that we make that are, going to be affecting our foundations. And Uranus coming here with the sun is like, I want to blow all my money and I want to do something risky. And because Mercury is retrograde, I'm going to say, don't do it. Now's not the time, right? Again, and trust your own heart. Remain open-minded, flexible, and be able to dodge and weave with change today and this whole week. Okay, that's the thing. All right, Wednesday, May 10th, no major aspects, but there is a Moon square to Jupiter and in opposition to Mars. So there can be frustration that we're trying to take on too many things. This is people-pleasing tendencies. So being really mindful of what you're saying yes to, especially on Wednesday, May 10th. Thursday, May 11th, no real aspects happening on this day. And remember, the sun is conjunct Uranus this whole week, but on Thursday specifically, there's a little bit of head versus heart energy here as the sun squares Mercury. It's very short time, but it's still this feeling of like, can I just get what I want, right? Can I just have the things that I desire? Can I not just have fun in life? And the answer is yes, responsibly. So just kind of noticing that. Friday, we have an aspect. We have Mercury sextile to Saturn. So Mercury is retrograde in Taurus. So this is our mind, our communication, our thought processing. In Taurus, this is about us thinking about our values, thinking about our beliefs connected to our values. And are we acting in alignment with that to bring ourselves safety? Are we spending all our money on junk, right? Or clothes or things that are kind of, as we get triggered, we move into, what do you spend your money on, right? What brings you safety? Emotional safety is not the same thing as financial safety. Interesting, right? Can they be one and the same? Yes. And emotionally, when you're triggered, you might then spend on food. You might spend on dresses. If you don't, I used to, when I feel really insecure with my body, what I do, go shopping online, right? Buy a whole bunch of things that's going to make me look cute. So I feel good about myself. And then it comes in the mail and it never really feels like it satiates anything, right? It's emotional spending. So that's why it's not always safety, it's maybe desired safety, but it's not actually. So that might be coming up now, especially with this Uranus in Taurus conjunct the sun. So on this day with and Saturn, so it's Mercury retrograde sextile to Saturn. Saturn is about our responsibility. In Aquarius is our responsibility to humanity, to be there for each other and lift each other up, and that make sure that everybody gets help and is and we're taking care of the earth. So Mercury retrograde in Taurus, which is about the earth, sextile to Saturn. This is about being responsible to our fellow citizens, to each other, to the earth, being a good steward of our resources. So we could also be learning from elders. So you might seek out some advice from elders here. And remember, Mercury's retrograde. So we are reviewing, reassessing, realigning with these beliefs. And maybe, this brings up a story for me that it wasn't until I became a mom did I realize that my mom's advice was like real, and like, oh, mom, what do you know? And then I get like, oh, well, what do you know? Tell me all the things, right? And then even then, sometimes we're just not able to hear from our elders if we have other, soul contracts in place or other ties that are kind of, I'm going to say, triggery. Right. So if you have, let's say, a mom that's really overbearing and that, makes you feel like she doesn't believe in you and she's always giving you advice and that makes you feel like she doesn't trust me, there's something there to be healed. Because there's something she's telling you at this time. I mean, Saturn is more so male figures like fathers or people in authority, but she could be a male authority figure for you. I mean, it's about the masculine, right? So masculine doesn't mean male or female, just so you know. So it's interesting. So today would be a great day to learn from elders, seek out advice or counsel from people who are in more senior positions or who are more elderly than you. Great for planning today. And ordinarily, this would be really great for execution, but because Mercury is retrograde, this is a great time to go over your vacation plans, go over your business plans, go over your budgeting, go over your holiday plans or any other long-term plans you have for yourself. This is a great day to go over those things. Clear thinking, good judgment, revise and negotiate contracts. Not a good time to sign contracts as Mercury is in retrograde. Long-term plans, revision, open conversations, great for teaching. This is really great for teaching, blogging, writing, sharing your wisdom, sharing your learned wisdom, right? Your experienced wisdom, not just wisdom that you read in books, actual experienced wisdom, right? Embodied wisdom. And then also on this day is Mercury sextile to Venus. So a sextile is a very harmonious aspect, and Venus is what we love and value. And she's now in Cancer. Cancer is about the home and nurturing and mothering and wanting to feel safe and take care of people. And it's very intelligent sign. It's a cardinal sign. So these two together, this is about really revising your plans about money, things that bring you that you love and value, right? Relationships, anything that your aesthetic and beauty, your wardrobe. This could be really great energy for finding a great deal, a good sale. This is a good sale item. Remember, don't be spending my money on everything because that Uranus wants you to blow it all. And we want to be very mindful with it. So friendly, great for connection, great for socializing, feeling kind of in harmony with other people and wanting to kind of be with others that really give you kind of safety and feel like I'm going to say like sisterly love or bonding, closer bonding, great for business. And this is a great energy for finding a win-win for everybody as well. Great for a possible resolution in conflict as well. Now, this is kind of this like researching kind of energy. Remember, Mercury is retrograde. So we're finding out what are some of the maybe core principles here that have contributed to this relationship not going so well. Right. So if you've been triggered in a relationship and someone knows you and values you and loves you, and something has happened that either you've perceived to have happened to you or they have actually done to you, there is now a time where you can potentially have a conversation with what happened to get deeper perspectives on things and see, other points of view. But the only caveat here is because Venus in Cancer can be very sensitive and very emotionally vulnerable. So it's a time to be very kind of cautious with your words, but using the words that people will hear, right? It's important to get your kind of message across in a way that they're going to receive it, not just the way you want to say it, right? Because that's not the same thing, right? I can be saying one thing, but if I know that word is going to trigger you, then I best not say it that way. Best say it in a way that I know you'll receive it and integrate it. And that takes conscience. No, the word I'm looking for is consciousness. There you go. Consciousness. Seriously, this Mercury retrograde. All right, Saturday, May 13th, we have Venus trine to Saturn. So Venus is what we love and value, and Saturn is about responsibility, doing the right thing, father time. So these two things together, this is about doing the right thing in relationships, being there for other people, and in a way that really can uplift both. Now, a trine is also, we can use this energy for the highest and best, but the possibility here is that you overdo it. You take on too much responsibility, you wanting to do for everybody. Everyone's like, stow your rope. You know what, we can do this. We can take care of ourselves too. So it's interesting, turned up too loud, any aspect that's supposed to be positive can be a negative, right? So just noticing that for yourself. So long-term goals in relationships. This is a great day for a date, y'all. Like this is really great, connection energy, deep connection and at a deeper sort of level of like, this is how I feel the world works. This is like spiritual. This is, emotional, vulnerable, coming together. Like it's very, very juicy. So it's great for a date. Great for new love, and possibly, if you're dating, maybe someone a little older or someone a little unique. Saturn is in Uranus, or sorry, Saturn's in Aquarius. Sorry, so Aquarius is kind of like a little kooky, a little bit, off the beaten path. Remember, march to their own drum, and so with oh, I think I did this wrong. I did, because Saturn's in Pisces right now. So I'm going to shift that instead of redoing this whole video, is that Venus trine to Saturn in Pisces. This is deep connection, which makes sense. It's two water signs. Deep connection, deep introspection, like great for workshops, for religion, for spiritual endeavors. Still great for relationships, still great for dating. And if you're in an existing relationship, this can really deepen your bonds, right? You're being a sort of this emotional nurturing side of you is connecting to this, responsible, deep responsible side of you. You're wanting to be, Saturn in Pisces is responsible spiritually for the way you feel, responsible for your soul's purpose, feeling responsible now from a soul level, not just your head, right? It's a big thing. So creative work is really good during this time too, because you're able to put sort of form to your feelings or to what you're thinking. This is great for creative endeavors. So writing, speaking, but even just like painting and I kind of want to put my hands in clay and things like that. So throwing clay or making vases or things like that. Great for long-term goals in relationships, great for safety with assets. So making good decisions with how you want to invest down the line. Sensible approach to money, practical outcomes are desired, and you work with a problem to find the solution. So this is great kind of problem solving energy. And then Sunday, May 14th, it is Mother's Day here in North America. So happy Mother's Day to all the mamas out there and those who are grieving mothers that aren't here and grieving relationships of mothers that they wish they would had. They might still be here or in the spirit world. It can be a tough day for some, and it can be an exciting day for others. So wherever it finds you, sending you love. So on this day, I always like to look at those days, this aspect, but this day specifically does have a major aspect, and it's Mercury going direct. So finally, Mercury's going direct, but not yet, right? It's stationary direct. So it's actually stationary direct from May 14th to the 17th, meaning that, and I mentioned this in the previous video, when you think about a pendulum swinging, as it sort of changes direction, if you will, it kind of hovers in midair for a few seconds and then it goes back down again. That is what stationary direct and stationary retrograde means. So as the planet is slowing down and starting to pick up speed, it's almost like it is now stationary direct. So it's sitting on this 5 degrees of Taurus mark for 3 days. And it's going to be like this for the beginning of next week. This is a time when communications are not great. This is a time when, tech can go crazy. You might send an email or a text message to the wrong person. This is a time to not make decisions with your money. This is a time to just sit tight for a moment, just for a few moments, if you can. Right? Not a time to sign contracts, not a time to travel. If you are traveling, making sure that you have your documents printed out and that you are ready with a good book and a hefty load of patience with you, because it can be some, delays in the way that you want things to unfold. Mercury is still not working on the right sort of as it usually does. So it's actually kind of a little wonky when it's stationary direct and stationary retrograde. So it's going to, not a great day to have deep conversations and try to hash out with your mom your healing and the pattern she's created in your life. Like today is not going to be received well, right? Save that for another day. That's not Mother's Day. So to just finish off with the Mercury retrograde, now is a time to notice a few things. So if you are somebody that journals or somebody that puts things on their calendars or is introspective and is understanding how this is working for you, not against you, for you. So during the retro shade, which was the part of the sort of time frame in which we were going to reassess, review, and see in a different light, that was from April 7th through to the 21st. So we got a glimpse at what was happening. And then the retrograde comes in April 21st to May 14th. So now this is the time where Mercury is now traveling back through these degrees of the zodiac, which is bringing up for you to see this stuff that you just went through in a new way, right? And I'll give you an example of this in a moment. And then the post shade, as we call it, is going to be from May 14th to the 31st. So now you're going to be going over those degrees again, but again, now you've learned a lesson. Now you've kind of come away with some new understanding because you've been sitting with what is really important to me, right? How am I aligning with my values? Is this really who I want to be that is creating the life that I want? Right? How am I living life right now that is not congruent with my identity that I desire? Right? That's going to show up here. So I'll give you the example. So I'm going to be launching an Astro school of how to learn your natal chart, how to understand what your natal chart says for you, what your gifts and talents are, what your challenges are, and understanding even your loved ones too. Like when I was learning that part of my astrology, I had my husband's chart, I had my children's chart, I had my parents' chart with me, and my brother's chart with me. And so as I'm learning these concepts, okay, Aries is this and Aries falls in this part of my chart. Oh, that makes so much sense. And then you start to learn about yourself and the different aspects of your life in a much deeper integrated way. So they're like, oh, that's why I'm like that. That's why I like that. Like I just had a coach say to me, like, I have Leo on my 10th house, and Leo is about being on stage and showing up with your gifts and talents and your unique voice and being a leader and also, being very creative. And she's a leader of creatives, right? She's a coach for creatives. And I was like, well, yes, that makes sense. I mean, I understand that, but she had just learned that. And she's like, this is why I like being on Instagram, right? And I kind of gave her it gave her permission to be herself, right? And I just love that she shared that, because this is what these tools do. They kind of make you go, oh, that's why I'm like that, number one. And number two is like, yeah, I get to be like this because this is how I'm wired. And I love myself for this. And there's gifts that come with that, right? There can also be challenges that come with that. So understanding your astrology is understanding both sides of that coin. So I wanted to teach that, right? So long story short, I wanted to teach that. And I really wanted to do it in a way that I don't think was ever taught to me, or I've never seen astrology taught in the world this way, but I wanted to be applied. That's why I called it applied astrology for real life, because I want you to understand yourself at a deeper level. And I was going to put it out. I was going to start it in May. It was going to be, 12 weeks, the usual. And it just wasn't sitting right. Wasn't sitting right. And that was all put together from April 7th to the 21st, where I was like, no, we're launching it, first Tuesday of May, we're going to do this thing. And then April 21st came along and I'm like, I don't want to do this. This doesn't feel right to me. And I'm so unmotivated, y'all. Like I know my intuition when I'm lit up about something and I create it from that place, it's hugely successful. I know that. And so knowing this was not like, it wasn't successful, it wasn't feeling like this is what I wanted to do. So from April 21st to May 14th, I actually sat with, and one of my beautiful coaches, Selena Gray, said to me, like, what if you did this on your terms? Like, what if you could turn this on its head? And what would it actually look like if you did it your way? Not the 12 weeks, not the whatever, 197, whatever, those costs and all that stuff. The way that marketers have been training and teaching people forever. And I was like, oh, I would make it like 16 weeks and I would push the date out to September. And then I would create like training materials like flashcards and a community off of social media that we could then like have this immersive place where people can learn and grow and ask questions and be held in their learning, not only of themselves, but of astrology. She's like, do that. And I was like, why not? Why not? Why can't I do it like that? Right. And as it started to percolate and started to think, like even now, as I record this, still Mercury is retrograde. It hasn't gone direct yet. And it's still sitting in me of like, what else could this look like? How else could this happen? And then I'm sitting with a lovely, dear friend of mine who's going through her own massive up level in her life. And she's putting out all of these awesome marketing ideas. And I'm like, oh, I could use that. Oh, I could definitely do that. Oh my gosh, I could do this, but do this in a different way. So I'm still reassessing, reviewing, and realigning this program, right? It's not complete yet. I'm going to be doing it. And then come May 14th to the 31st, that is when I'm going to finalize all of my copy. That's when I'm going to really kind of, I've already talked to my web designer about changing a bunch of things on it. She's like, I love it. Let's do it. Send me the copy. And I'm like, not until after the, I don't think I told her that. Surprise, Kate. After the 14th of May, when we're Mercury's direction, I'm like, no, I've gleaned all that I can from this. This is how we apply astrology to real life, right? So if I was not understanding astrology, I could have really beat myself up for not being motivated, for not being on track with this. And I'm an entrepreneur, and why can't I put this out there? And I might have even forced myself to launch it in May and not felt good, and then not attracted people in that wanted to learn it in that way, or might have felt overwhelmed. And then I would have gotten a really bad sort of rap with it, or not great testimonials. And like, it just wouldn't have gone well, right? I would have put a lot of pressure on myself had I not understand the astrology, right? Mercury retrograde is slowing us down to really understand the wisdom of what is being shown to us. I also was diagnosed with anemia during this time. Hello, talk about information coming to light that then made me realize, am I living my life in accordance with my health? Or am I just living my life to work and work and work and work and work, which is what I was doing. And I'm not doing that anymore, y'all. So Mercury has brought in a lot of nuggets of wisdom for me. And I hope it has brought in wisdom for you too, because of this forecast, because what astrology shows you, that this is what's available to you. So when these things are happening in your life, even understanding your natal chart, when you realize this is how you're designed, then it's going to be able to help you, to understand life in a deeper way, and understand yourself in a deeper way, and not judge yourself, not judge life, to understand this is happening for me, not to me. And I know it's used a lot in the spiritual world, but this is exactly what I mean by that. Okay. So enjoy your week. This is going to be a wonderful week of self-discovery and learnings. And next week is a big, big week, right? Not only do we have Jupiter moving into Taurus. We have a new moon next Friday. Mars is moving into Leo and the sun is moving into Gemini. So we've got 3 planets changing signs next week. The energy is going to really shift. So just notice what's happening this week. Notice what's coming up for you to be learned so that you can then move into the next season with awesome consciousness, awareness, and abundance, right? I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate that you comment, that those of you who comment on the Facebook feed every week, those of you who comment on Instagram, those of you who comment on YouTube. Oh my gosh, I have like 3 or 4 of you that consistently comment on YouTube every week. And I just thank you for that. I watch every single comment. I'm in charge of my own social media, and I always thank every single one of you because I truly appreciate you. So, and thank you. Just thank you for being here. All right. Have a great week.